The US is officially in a recession, and that means a lot of Turo businesses are going to go under unless you act now. You want to make sure that you implement these steps to recession-proof yourself and get ready for the unstable economic times that we're headed for, and make sure that you keep that money coming in with your Turo business. Now, some of these steps are going to include selling your cars that are not profitable or that you might be underwater on, adjusting your listing settings, and most importantly, understanding who is renting from you so that you can cater to their needs. Now, implementing all of these steps is really going to help you recession-proof yourself. These are the things that I'm literally doing myself on a daily basis, and I want to take a deep dive with you guys and show you guys exactly what to do to recession-proof yourself so that you don't go under. Now, you can definitely help me out by hitting that subscribe button, show some love to the YouTube algorithm, and if you appreciate some of the research and work that went in behind this video, that would definitely be a huge favor to me, and I appreciate you guys as always for watching. Okay, so I really wanted to understand, how does a business like Turo perform during a recession? But the downside to this is that we don't have any past data on this because Turo didn't exist during the last recession, which took place in 2008 and 2009. Turo wasn't around, so I really had to think to myself, well, how do I get a better understanding of how a car rental business will do when we are in these types of economic conditions? So I had to go back and do some research in news articles that came out in 2008 and 2009 about how our traditional car rental companies perform, and it didn't look so good. I found some amazing articles and news pieces that were covering Hertz, Enterprise, and Avis at that time. What I came to find is that all of these major companies saw a major downturn in business where their sales were down upwards of 23%. Now, that is due to the fact that when a recession happens and inflation is high, unemployment rates go up, which means that people have less money to spend. They are not traveling as much and they stay closer to home. And because of that, not as many people are traveling, so the demand for rental cars goes down. And this is why it is so crucial for you to take these steps as a Turo host so that you can avoid some of these pitfalls that we know happen in the car rental industry. So let's start off with the number one step that you should really consider if you find yourself in this position, and that is selling some of your cars. Now, this is extremely important because of what we just experienced. Now, we know that car prices went through the roof in this last year, reaching all-time highs, cars being marked up above MSRP and being sold way over value because of supply chain shortages and demand going through the roof. And unfortunately, what I have found with talking to hundreds of Turo hosts is that a lot of people have fell into this pitfall of buying cars at really high prices, and unfortunately those cars either not performing well on the Turo platform or losing their value because of the greater economic conditions. Now, what we have seen in the used car market is that car prices have been coming down dramatically. We have seen 4 months in a row of record dropping car prices and the values coming down. And so unfortunately, what this means for some people who bought at the height of the market is that their cars are no longer valued at the price that they bought them at, meaning you end up underwater on those cars. And what makes it worse is that some people didn't do their homework and they unfortunately didn't choose the right car for the right market, and it's not renting out as well as they had hoped, and they either are breaking even or they're losing money, or maybe what they're bringing in doesn't meet expectations. So this means that you need to go check in on the values of your cars and their performances. If they are not performing as you had hoped, now is the time to sell these vehicles and minimize your downside risk, because car values are still slightly higher than normal, and before they continue to crash and you lose out on that resale value, you will likely want to sell these cars and get out of them. Now, on the flip side, if you have been super patient and you know that the number one rule for Turo is buying a car at the right price so that you can maximize your margins, this is going to be a fantastic time to buy. This is the time where you invest in assets that are really crashing in value and prices and really maximize margins because you're getting in at a good deal. Kind of the same rule that applies to stocks and other assets and commodities like that, real estate as well. So if you want to learn more about the right deal for the right car on the Turo marketplace, check out powerhost.club, where I have a full walkthrough on exactly how to do that and how to make that calculation. Now, step number 2 is so quick and simple, and one that I find most hosts do not practice, and that is polling your renter base and understanding who they are and why they are renting your car from you. This is extremely important because you need this inside information to really determine how to set up your listings and best cater to their needs. Now, for me personally, I've been polling my customers over the last few months because I'm really trying to understand, why are people coming into town? We had an unusual summer, but a really busy September and October so far. And what I'm finding is that majority of my renters are coming into town for work, which means my area has really picked up for business travel, which I haven't seen in a couple years since the pandemic happened. So this is a huge shift in the market for me and a really important piece of information, because when people are traveling into town on business, typically a car rental is a business expense for them, which means they generally have a larger budget to spend on their car rental because it's an expense and that is tax efficient for them. And oftentimes this is being billed to whatever company they are flying in from, and that means they have more of a budget to spend on a car rental, which tells me that my luxury cars are probably going to be okay if I can continue to cater to people who are traveling into town on business, and I can continue to keep my day rates up. So you can see right there how important it is to know who's renting cars from you and why they are renting from you. If you can figure out who your audience is, you can really cater to them and maximize on the day rate that you want for your vehicles, which again is going to maintain your margins and keep your business intact as we go through this recession and the economy really changes. Now, after you secure that information, the next step, and step number 3, is adjusting your listings. This is so crucial. One thing that I think a lot of Turo hosts think is that listings are one of those things where you just kind of set it and forget it, right? You set up your settings, your price points, your day rates, all that, and that's it. And that is not true. Your listing settings actually need to be quite dynamic, meaning you need to continue to change them as seasons change on the Turo marketplace. This is going to be very important. Now, if you learn that a lot of the people coming to rent your cars are people who are traveling for business, one of the listing adjustments that you can make, and that I have made for my cars, is now I offer delivery to my local airport where I know people are traveling in for business. And my cars have literally been booked back to back to back ever since I made that listing adjustment, ever since I found out that, oh my gosh, business travel has picked up yet again, and I literally haven't seen this for years. So it's little nuances like that that you can really pick up on that is going to make all the difference for your listing settings. Now, we know that September is historically slow. Most people typically see maybe 7 to 10 days booked, but my cars were booked on average about 20 days in September because I made that just one small adjustment and it made all the difference. Now, I love this article that was posted by Trip Actions, and they reported on some really interesting travel trends in 2022. One of the things that they are seeing is that business trip bookings for fall travel are up nearly 6 times year over year. After a flat summer, travel spend jumped 27% in August, with another 30% increase projected in September. Flight booking prices in both the US and EU now lower than in 2019, and team travel bookings jumped 73% in August as an increasingly global workforce looks to strengthen company culture. Connecting distributed teams is the #1 reason for business travel purposes, and trips per company and travelers per company are on the rise. Engineering, marketing, and product teams continue to increase share of bookings, and business and leisure trips continue to blend with 35% of business travel bookings now including the weekend. So you can really notice a very important trend and shift that is taking place here, and one that you can really capitalize on if you live in an area where business travel is important and there's business to be had and to be done, and why shouldn't you get a piece of that pie? Now, if you find yourself in a position to where you need to sell one of your cars, you definitely want to check out this video that I made recently on how I sold my cars for the most money so that you can minimize that downside risk. And the beauty of getting rid of some cars in this market that aren't performing well is that we are going into a market that is going to be fantastic for getting into new cars. So that opportunity is still there for you. But it's really important that you exercise all 3 steps. Get out of cars that are not making money while you still have time to get a decent value on the market. Make sure you are talking to your guests and understand why they are renting from you and why are they in town, why are they traveling, so that you can cater to their needs. And number 3, make sure that you continue to adjust your listing settings until you get the results that you're looking for. So make sure you adjust your price points, offer delivery if you can, and just continue to bake more and more value into your listings, and that is going to be the thing that really sets you apart from everyone else, and that's going to keep your business moving as we go through this recession. Now, I'm going to be keeping you guys up to date on all things recession and how the economy is going to change and how it's going to affect us as business owners, because it's really important to track these trends. So stay with me over the next couple months as we navigate this together, and I look forward to bringing you guys all the updates. So once again, check out that video on how I sold my cars for the most money if you find that you need to get out of one of your vehicles. Comment down below and I'll chat with you guys down in the comment section.